What's the worst thing you've ever caught your partner hiding? I got off work 3 hours early to surprise my wife, and I had no special reason. I just missed her and thought I'd get her favorite takeout and spend the evening together, just us. But the moment I opened the front door, something felt off. It wasn't just quiet, but a strange quiet, and there was a weird smell. Not like food or perfume, but like someone sprayed air freshener after cleaning up too fast. So I stepped inside slowly and closed the door behind me, careful not to make a sound, and my keys jingled softly as I set them on the table. And then I stood there listening, but heard nothing. I called out to Cindy, but got no answer, and her car was in the driveway. I saw it when I pulled in, so she had to be there. I walked down the hall, and each step felt heavier than the last, and our bedroom door was half open, with a thin beam of light cutting into the hallway. That's when I heard a soft whisper, like someone stopped talking suddenly, and I called Cindy's name again, but quieter this time, and my hand shook as I pushed the door open. She was standing by the window with her back to me, holding her phone tightly like she didn't want to drop it, and she jumped when she turned around and saw me and told me I was home early with a forced smile. I said I was, but my voice was flat, and I looked around, and the bed was made, and pillows were neat, and everything was too perfect, like the room was hiding something. I asked who she was talking to, and she held her phone tighter and told me no one, just work stuff. But she was lying, because I knew her signs, like her quick glance left, and the way she stood, and her fingers gripping hard. Before I could say anything, the closet door creaked. Not loud, but enough, and her eyes flicked to it just for a second, but that was all I needed. She asked what was wrong, trying to act normal, but her voice was shaking, so I didn't answer. I just walked toward the closet slowly, and my heart was already pounding, but my face didn't show it. She told me to wait, but I was already reaching for the handle. I opened the door fast, and at first it looked empty, but then I saw movement, and a man stood there, half naked, with wide eyes, frozen like a kid caught stealing. For a second, none of us moved. We just stared at each other like time had stopped, and then I found my voice and asked who he was, calm but firm, the kind of calm that only happens right before a big storm. But he didn't answer. He just glanced at Cindy, then back at me, like he was waiting for her to tell him what to do. She told me she could explain, but I turned slowly and asked if she really wanted to explain why she was hiding a man in our house, in our bedroom. And tears formed in her eyes, but I was too hurt to care, because the betrayal had cut too deep. I asked how long it had been going on, and she hesitated, but that was all the answer I needed, so I turned to the man and told him to get out, but he just stood there. So I shouted louder and grabbed him by the arm and pushed him toward the hallway, and he stumbled, grabbed his clothes off the floor, and took off. Cindy didn't follow him. She just stood there, frozen in place, with tears streaking down her cheeks. So I walked to the closet, pulled out a suitcase, and started packing. And she asked where I was going, and I told her away, and she asked to who, and I said to anyone but her. My hands were shaking as I threw clothes in the bag, and I wasn't even thinking about what I packed. I just wanted to leave fast. She told me she made a mistake, but I zipped the suitcase and told her a mistake is forgetting to take out the trash. But this was a choice, and I headed to the door, but just before I left, I turned around one last time, and she stood there, eyes red, still crying, and I asked if it was worth it, but she didn't say a word. So I opened the door and walked out and closed it behind me. The takeout was still sitting in my passenger seat, so I tossed it in the trash. That night, I checked into a hotel 2 towns away and slept quietly with my suitcase half open on the floor, but the betrayal kept me up all night.